Alright, welcome to February's installment of me reviewing every film I watched in the month. You may think my makeup is insane. That's because it is. It's for a class. We're doing like a character cafe, and I'm playing this vampire character. So when I put on my makeup, so that's why it's very, very bright. It's very vampire-esque. So please ignore that for now. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into the movies. I decided to also do the TV shows I watched briefly because I felt like there was a lot more TV shows than movies than last month. So here we go with that. Okay, the first one I watched was Maximum Ride, which thumbs down, horrible, literally so bad. It was produced, I think, just executively by Jenna Marbles, the YouTuber, which is really strange. And it was horrible. It's based off of the book series by James Patterson, and you could tell that they were setting it up to get a sequel, but it's so bad. It's literally heinous. Whoever wrote the script for it needs to be arrested. All the acting's horrible, the storyline makes no sense, the visual effects are so bad. I think the worst part is definitely like the villain son character. The makeup, the way he acts, it's so cringy. Ugh, it's so good. I don't even recommend watching it in like a so bad it's good kind of way. It's just one of those movies I would skip. Then there's iBoy. iBoy, thumbs down. I watched a lot of shitty movies this month. iBoy is a Netflix original movie. It's British. It's about this kid he goes to check on his friend, and his friend is getting robbed, and he's running away while on the phone with the police, and the intruder like shoots him, and his phone goes through his head, so he gets these like phone related powers, and it's really stupid. It's so weird, like tonally I can't figure out what it's supposed to be, and it's like there's so many things I could forgive about it, but the thing that like it's so bad, this movie has like an R-word scene in it. Like, it's a major plot point that this character, not the main character, but like a side character, gets R-worded. It's like in iBoy, are you fucking kidding me? iBoy, it's so bad. And there's Bright. Bright is also a Netflix original. It has Will Smith in it. It's like Zootopia, kind of. It's like weird. It's like fantasy Zootopia. So there's like fantasy creatures like orcs and fairies and stuff like that. But it's this weird like racial metaphor, and I just feel like it was very strange. Like, I don't feel like it succeeded in doing anything. It tried to do a lot. It was very like cyberpunk at times. I read Neuromancer by William Gibson for class recently, and I felt like there were some scenes that felt like they were drawing inspiration from that, or like Blade Runner, but it was just not good. Like, there were things that it did that I was like, this is interesting, like this could go somewhere, but overall it was just like thumbs down. It just, no. Then next was Cirque Du Freak. This also gets a thumbs down. I watched this with PMI's commentary tracks, and like Eric loves the Cirque Du Freak book series. Like, he loved reading them as a kid, and he's like still a really big fan. So I'm not dissing the Cirque Du Freak franchise, because the thing is like, I could tell just from the movie and the characters that the concept is really cool, of like just the concept of it in general. Like, there's these weird characters and there's this interesting atmosphere, and it's like, okay, this could have been done well, and like it makes me want to buy the book series and read them. But the movie is so boring and so nothing, and yet everything at once. It's like the movie, I never thought I would say this, the movie has too much going on. Like, there's like 10 movies in one. It moves so fast paced that I don't care about any of these characters. I don't have time to care about the characters or the side plots or anything that's going on, because it's going so fast that it's like, how do you have a movie that goes really fast and yet it's also insanely boring? Like, how do you do that? I don't know. Then there's Identity. Identity gets a thumbs up overall. I don't want to spoil anything about Identity. So I won't. But I recommend watching Identity. This is actually one that I recommend. I think, without spoiling too much, I think that Identity does some things that are harmful. If you finish the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I think that overall, as someone with the thing going on in Identity, I think that overall it is fine. I think it's really well done. I really, really liked the movie. I thought it was really suspenseful. I liked the mystery aspect. I felt like it actually completely hooked me. And the only thing that I didn't like was the very, very ending. Because the movie kind of ends and you think it's over. And I liked that ending a lot. And then something else happens and that's like the real ending. And I don't like that because I feel like it plays into like the harmful stereotypes and stuff. And you guys will figure out what I'm talking about if you watch it. Then there was Tall Girl. Tall Girl, I hate to give it a thumbs up after Identity, which is like a real movie that like is actually good and has good acting and shit. But I feel like I have to give it a thumbs up because I'm not doing like, I'm not going middle ground, I'm doing thumbs up or thumbs down, and I feel like compared to Maximum Ride, iBoy, and Bright, I think I like Tall Girl more. Like, I think that overall, like, it knows what it is. Like, it knows it's just a shitty, cheesy Netflix movie that is about a girl who's too tall. And I kind of, actually, no. Actually, thumbs down. Thumbs down. I'll come, yeah. Thumbs down overall, just because I had fun watching it, but like as a movie it's not really that great, and I feel like the whole thing with the best friend character is kind of creepy, like him carrying around the box and so it's strange. Y'all know all about Tall Girls, I don't really need to get into that. And then there's Hairspray. I feel like I watched the newer one. I have seen the John Waters one. I'd not seen the newer one all the way through, and I feel like for all its faults, it's definitely a thumbs up all the way. It's a lot funnier than I remember parts of it being. It's a lot like rougher and crasser. And like I know the John Waters version is obviously, but I figured that the new one, like it's got like Zac Efron and stuff, and I figured it would be like toned down. And it is to a degree, but it's still like, it's still got that punch to it. And I don't know. I feel like in terms of like movie musicals, it's definitely like on the upper side. Like it's definitely still entertaining. I like the costuming. I like the characters. I cared. So yeah, thumbs up overall. Then there's Tall Girl 2, which I'm gonna give a thumbs up. I liked it more than Tall Girl 1 because it took more chances. It was more insane. There was more stuff going on, and it was a lot more entertaining. I felt like they took the first one, they were like, okay, well, if you're here for the second one, then we can just do whatever the fuck we want to do. And I respect that. I like that. It was fun. I definitely wouldn't watch it again, but it's also one that if a friend wanted to watch it, I would say yes. If a friend wanted to watch Maximum Ride, iBoy, Bright, Cirque Du Freak, like with me, I would say no. I'd be like, let's find another movie. If someone wanted to watch Tall Girl 2 with me, I'd be like, okay, sure, I can watch that. Then there's After. After's a thumbs down. I hate After. I rewatched After actually because I was like, it's been a while since I have seen the first one, because I watched the first one and then there's the second one. I actually accidentally skipped the second one and went straight to the third one, so I was very confused on the plot. But then I went back and watched the second one. So the way I watched this movie was After 3, which is like after something. They all have like, you know, subtitles. It was after 3, after 2, and then after again. So I kind of watched them in a backwards manner. But thumbs down for sure. It's based off of a Harry Styles fan fiction, and I found out, but they like changed the name for the movie. His name was Hardin Scott instead of Harry Styles. And I didn't know this, but apparently the fan fiction has this whole like, He isn't in the movie. There's like a plot twist. I don't think you guys care about spoilers for after, but there's this whole plot twist where he was dared to get like Tessa, that's the main character, to fall in love with him. But then he actually ended up falling in love with her. But in the book, apparently it's like to get her to sleep with him, and she's like a virgin, and it's like apparently a lot more fucked up. There's a lot more stuff, but apparently it's a lot more fucked up in the fan fiction than it is in the movie, and so I'm glad they changed that, because that's so bad. But yeah, it's so shitty. It's so shitty. It's so bad. The only scene I like is Tessa and Hardin are in this class, and they're in college, and they're in these, the teacher's talking about, they read like Pride and Prejudice or something, and Tessa is talking about Mr. Darcy and how he's being a dick, and I love anything to do with Jane Austen, so love any Jane Austen shout outs, but essentially I do like the parallel made between Darcy and Hardin as characters. I think that that's interesting and actually adds more depth to his character than is earned. It's kind of like a cheap way of getting us to like the character more, but it kind of works. So that's something the movie did that's interesting. The Book of Henry. What the fuck is this movie? What is this movie? I thought it was just about a kid who died. What? Like, it is weird. That movie is strange as fuck. I actually recommend watching the Book of... I give the Book of Henry a thumbs down, but I recommend watching... I would give it a sideways thumb, but I'm not doing that. I recommend watching it just because I can't even begin to describe how bad shit insane it is. Let's just say it's this kid, like the entire thing feels bizarre. Every line of dialogue feels like it's wrong. Like it's just wrong. The entire world feels wrong. It is strange. You feel like you're tripping when you're watching it. So I recommend watching that because I don't think I can think of a movie like it, which is a good and bad thing. But it's something. I'm much more interested in that than I am in Maximum Ride. I'm just gonna keep dogging on that movie. Then I watched Saw. I'd never seen Saw before. The only Saw movie I'd seen before this month was Spiral, which is the latest one, and which is not a good representation. And I hated that. But I figured, okay, well, the first movie is probably better because, like, I hated Final Destination 4, The Final Destination, but I love the first one, and I love the last one. And so I was like, you know what? I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll watch the first Saw movie. I was expecting it to be a lot gorier and for me to have to look away. Saw is not as gory as people say it is. It's really not. I've watched way gorier movies I've actually had to like avert my eyes for. Like The Martyr, or The Martyrs. I can't remember if it's plural. It's a French film. And God, that movie's rated PG-13, and straight up, spoiler alert for The Martyrs, this girl gets her skin peeled off while she's alive. France needs to get the rating system checked out because that shit is fucked up. That movie is so fucked up. It's actually a really good movie, but it's so gory and torturous. Like, I had to, like, fast forward through shit. It's fucked. But back to I actually saw it. Thumbs up for sure. I actually really, really, really liked it. Like, a lot. I thought the twists were good, even though I knew some of them going in. Like, it's good. It's just a good movie. Why do I keep yelling? Damn. Excuse me. It's just a good movie. Saw is a good movie. I never thought I'd be saying that. Y'all should watch Saw. Saw is good. Then I felt like I had to rest on it for a second because I wasn't ready for disappointment if Saw 2 was bad. So I watched the Tinder Swindler because everyone was fucking talking about it. And I expected it to be a mini series, but it was actually a movie, which I appreciate. I feel like they could have dragged it out and they didn't. And that is good. It's by the same person who did like Don't Mess with Cats, which I haven't watched yet, but I've heard good things about. And the Tinder Swindler is insane. This guy, I can't remember his last name. I mean, it's a fake name anyway, but he goes by like Simon something, and he is this Israeli man who essentially scammed these women out of like $10 million. And it's not like a Nigerian prince type email situation. It's like he had like a Ponzi scheme of dating. He pretended that, oh, thumbs up. He pretended that, I forgot to give it a rating. He pretended that he was like a billionaire's son. And so their first date, he would like take them on this private jet and stuff. So it didn't seem like he was poor. It didn't seem like he was scamming them. He was literally like, he would use other women's money to buy the private jet to convince another woman that he was rich. It's literally a Ponzi scheme for dating. It's insane. And so he would like be with these women for like 6 months. They talk about getting a place together, like all this stuff. He would like take them on these lavish vacations, and then one day he'd be like, my enemies are after me, and he would send them videos of like his bodyguard like injured and all this stuff. It'd be the same video every time. And so he'd be like, they're tracking my credit cards. I can't use them for a while. Can I please just use your credit card? Or like, can you open a credit card for me for just like a little bit, and I'll pay you back even more than you gave me. And so this is their boyfriend. They trust him. He's shown that he's not poor. So they're like, they did it. They would take out loans, and he ended up scamming women for over $10 million. And he only got jail time for 5 months. Like, he's out. And like, they banned him off of Tinder, but like, he's still getting social media platforms. He's on Cameo. And so I feel like the only way to take down this guy is to like have everyone recognize him so they don't get scammed. I feel like genuinely. But what I worry about is like, is he the next Wolf of Wall Street? Like, are people just gonna like, are people going to love this guy even though he's a scammer and a fucking loser and a douchebag? Like, a weirdo alpha bro is gonna love him. And I feel like they are. He's got Cameo. People are buying his cameos. Something's happening. Okay, then I went back to Saw. Saw 2, great. Incredible. Wonderful. I wasn't let down. And then Saw 3, also a thumbs up. 1, 2, and 3 I consider to be canon. So like 1 through 3, it's like they were good. 3 wrapped it up. But it still left room for sequels if they wanted to do them. But 3 wrapped it up, and so to me, that's like the end of the Saw franchise, and the rest is like fan fiction that got made into film. And so they can be enjoyed, but they're not like within canon. Like, that's the way I like to view it, because 1 through 3 was like actually really good in my opinion. So I don't like to taint them with the rest of the franchise. I think 1 was my favorite, then 3, then 2. Then I watched Saw 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I know, a lot. So Saw, I can't remember well. 4 through 6 was almost like its own chunk too. And they were fine. They were fine. They felt very tonally the same to 1 through 3. I didn't feel like they were nearly as smart or enjoyable, but I still liked them. I would prefer them exist to not exist, because it's just like more Saw things to watch. But then Saw the final chapter was so shitty. It was so dog shit. It reminded me so much of The Final Destination, which they named Final Destination 4 The Final Destination because they thought it was going to be the last one, and then it was so shitty that people were like, no, you have to give us another one. And so they did, and Final Destination 5 was arguably the best one in the series. But Saw the final chapter, in my opinion, just like Final Destination, is arguably the worst one in the series. I feel like the way they do the colors, the filming, the plot line, the traps, it all just feels horrible. Like, it just feels so cheap. Then they did Jigsaw, which is the 8th one, and it's the one right before Spiral. And thumbs down. I forgot to do a rating. So Saw 4, if I'm just doing thumbs up, thumbs down, I'll give it a thumbs up. Saw 5, thumbs up. Saw 6, thumbs up. Saw the final chapter, thumbs down. And then Jigsaw, thumbs down overall. Actually, you know what? You know what? Fuck it. All thumbs down. They all get thumbs down. I don't like them. I don't like them. I watching them was entertaining, but I don't like them, and I don't think that they're good movies. Then I watched Hellboy, the new one with David Harbour, and I love David Harbour, and David Harbour is very charming and charismatic in my opinion, but he is not in this movie, and I hate this movie, but simultaneously I love this movie. This is very Malignant to me, where it's like it's so insane that I'm like, I'm definitely gonna rewatch this, like for sure. But unlike Malignant, it wasn't intentional with how shitty it was at times. Definitely thumbs down. It's horrible. It's possibly the worst movie I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, like, it's just, let me see if I can find, it's on my phone, though, which I'm filming this on. Well, I know I texted Jackson, my boyfriend, about, like, it at the time, and I was like, I'm 20 minutes in, and there's already been, like, a gate to hell, and Nazis, and, the British, like, royalty in weird costumes getting slaughtered by some creature, like, weird, like, very strange, and not strange in a good way. Horrible. That being said, I would prefer to watch it again to, like, Iron Man. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but at least it's something. I don't care if it's bad, if it's entertaining. I prefer that to a boring good movie. The Giver, thumbs down, but a lot better than I thought. I remember watching it when it came out, and I've never read the book. I know that the book is, like, regarded as being really good, but it wasn't as bad as I remember. I know everyone dogs on The Giver as being, like, a really shitty adaptation, and I think it's mostly because of when it came out, you know, because compared to, like, The Hunger Games and stuff like that, who are, like, high drama and have a lot going on and all that, it just seems like a shitty version of those movies. And it's like, I feel like the biggest issue with it was missing the heart that I feel like it was supposed to have, because it's not very action-packed or anything, so I feel like in order to counteract that, we need a little bit more heart. We need a protagonist. I feel like they honestly just chose the wrong protagonist. I feel like the actors weren't good choices, and that's a few of their acting abilities. I felt like their acting was fine, but I felt like the character wasn't weak, isn't the word. I just felt like we needed a bit more of, like, an underdog or someone that seemed really sensitive, and we didn't get that, and that sucks. Scooby-Doo, these are, like, the live action ones. Thumbs up. It's stupid. I like it. What can I say? It's stupid, but I like it. Overall, thumbs up. James Gunn, you're literally insane. I mean, we know that by now, but bro, I don't know. Maybe it's because, like, it's so when I grew up, but they're charming. They're just charming movies. Speaking of which, the second one, thumbs up. I can't decide which one I like better. Scooby-Doo 2 is closer to what a Scooby-Doo movie is supposed to be, but there's a lot that I like about the first one. But do I like the things about the first one just because they were setting up the franchise? I don't know. But I like all the casting choices. Matthew Lillard is literally genius as Shaggy. It's the most brilliant choice in casting history, probably. But I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun. It's stupid. It's nothing like Scooby-Doo at all, but it is, and it's great. Y'all should rewatch that if you're looking for something fun to watch at, like, a sleepover. Relive your childhood if you're young, obviously. Then I watched Clubhouse Detectives. I'd never heard of this. It was the thing I watched with PMI. PMI stands for pretty much it, by the way. Clubhouse Detectives is, good. It's good. I know I hesitate with that, but it's good. It's just so strange for a kids movie. Thumbs up. It was actually so good, I kind of want to, like, buy a DVD and show my kids when they get older. It was impossible to find. I had to find it in, like, parts on YouTube. Because it's apparently, like, there's multiple Clubhouse Detective, but the first one was, like, which is the one that they were watching, was, like, impossible to find. It took me so long. But it was really good. It was dark. It's dark for a kids movie. They're solving a literal murder. Like, an actual murder. Like, this woman was murdered. It's fucked up. That being said, it was good. It was good. I feel like it would have actually effectively kind of scared me as a kid, but in a way that wasn't traumatizing. It was just, like, scary for the time watching. The Mothman Prophecies, thumbs up. My dad showed me this movie, like, back when I was in middle school or something, and I do not remember it being as good as it was. It's very Donnie Darko. It's very, I don't know. I think what I've realized is I like movies that are smart, and whether they're fake smart or actually smart is kind of up in the air, but if they make me feel like the movie is smart, that's all I need. I don't care if it's actually smart. Like, I love Signs. Signs is, like, my favorite movie by M. Night Shyamalan. My favorite movie, comma, by M. Night Shyamalan, not my favorite movie by M. Night Shyamalan. Signs is, like, my favorite movie, and I don't know, it just makes me feel smart because they've been setting all this stuff up the entire time, and you get payoff, which is like Saw, you know, like, if they set it up, you get payoff. I like that stuff. I like stuff that feels strange, but in a way that feels intentional and smart, and I feel like the Mothman Prophecies really does that. All I'm gonna say is, if you've seen it, plan on seeing it, the gifts scene, it's smart. It's a payoff. I like it. Then Stones in the Sun. I watched this for class. It is a French film. I don't know if the movie is French, but it is, like, 95% of the movie is in French. And it's about these Haitian immigrants who are living in America, specifically New York, and it's like going on during the Haitian Revolution, and there's all these interweaving stories that is very similar to, like, The Leftovers, where, of course, the Haitian Revolution and, like, the Haitian dictatorship and all that are very big issues, but the individual issues of these people's lives are not that grand at all times, but they're super important to them, and they're super important to the audience because they're super important to them. They really succeed in making you actually care about these characters and feel for them, and they feel like real people. They don't feel like characters, they feel like real people, and they could be real people. And their trauma is other people's trauma. And I just felt like it was really, really good. So obviously, thumbs up. Really good. Edwidge Danticat is an actor in that movie. She plays the sister of a character. And she's great in that movie, and she is a great author. I really recommend reading her works. Her work it's so good. I've read some of her works for class, and they're incredible. I'm, like, super captivated by her voice. Then following that, I watched Bad Match, which I know is such a change in tone. That's so different. Bad Match is a thumbs down. For what it is, it's fine. It's like a Tinder cautionary tale thing with a twist. But I saw the twist coming, obviously. It's fun. It's entertaining. I watch it as sleepover. It's a sleepover movie. But overall, it's not good. Okay, now for the TV shows. Station 11, thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. A billion thumbs up. 10 trillion thumbs up. This is possibly the best TV show I've ever seen in my life. It's done by some of the same people who did The Leftovers, and it shows. And it makes me want to read everything that the authors ever put out because it's based off of a book. It's genius. It's a miniseries. It's perfect length. It's great that it's only going to be one season. I don't feel like they should stretch it out. It's incredible. If you haven't seen Station 11, you should watch it now. Watch it now. And then come back and talk to me about it, because no one that I know personally will sit down and watch it, even though I've begged them to, because I need someone to talk about this with. I'm in love with this show. I'm in love with this show. And the one thing I will say is you need to get past the first episode, because they filmed it before COVID like happened. But it is about like a very similar virus, but has like a much higher fatality rate. And so you just need to get past the first episode, because that's going to make it seem like, oh, this is too real. We're living through this. I don't need a show about it, you know. But it's actually not about that. It's like post-apocalyptic. They're just setting it up. And it's much more about like people and life and death and birth than it is about the virus. The virus is just like the setting. There is no... It's not really about that. Once you get past the first episode, it doesn't feel like that at all. Then I restarted watching Futurama. I remember being obsessed with it when I was like in 7th grade, and I watched all 10 seasons in like a month. And I started rewatching. I'm on like season 3 now, and it's really good. I mean, I think it's better than anything that group has, like anything else the group has put out. And that includes The Simpsons, Disenchantment. What else have they put out? I don't know. Everything I've seen that they've put out, I think Futurama is by far the best. It is so funny. It still holds up. I'm just genuinely captivated in the storylines. Like, I like the show. I think it's really solid. Then there's The Island, or The One Land, depending on if you finish the show or not, which I don't recommend doing. So that was the weirdest twist ever. It's just this shitty show where the concept is kind of cool. I'll go ahead and spoil it because I don't watch it. It's so stupid. But the concept is like, these people wake up on this island, and the one land, and they are all criminals, but they don't know this yet. They don't remember their crimes yet. And it turns out that they're actually all like in this virtual reality essentially, but it feels like real. And it's part of like their prison sentence, where it's like if they can go through this thing, essentially proving if they can get off the island, it's basically to prove that they are reformed and able to go back into society, depending on how they do in this simulation. Like if they kill other people, if they repeat their crimes, etc. But the main character kind of gets out of it too early, and it's just a lot, and it's stupid, and the concept is really cool, but the execution is horrible, and yeah, I hated it. Thumbs down. Then I rewatched the first season of 13 Reasons Why, and I was reminded of how it got made in the first place. The first season has no right to be that good. Say what you want about its handling of the issues, but on a technical like level of filmmaking, which I know it's a TV show, but filmmaking, it's insanely solid. It has absolutely no right to be that good at all. The acting, the dialogue, the editing, the cinematography is the best part. It's insane. Who gave them the right? For 13 Reasons Why? Are you fucking kidding me? It's crazy. And it makes me realize that 2, 3, and especially 4 are so dog shit. It's ridiculous. Like, it's actually insane. Like, how'd they go from that? It should have been a mini series, and it just cut off there. And then I feel like it would have gone down with like some respect. But they had to continue it because it did well. But I feel like, honestly, the rest of the seasons do a horrible job handling the issues. But the first season, I think, when it first came out, I remember being upset about it too, because of the way that they like released it without any trigger warnings, and things are very sensitive in it, and I feel like it was extremely irresponsible and triggering of them to release it without any trigger warnings. But then once they fixed that, I feel like the first season kind of handles things well, because yeah, people don't always handle things in the best situation, like the characters, but the show isn't saying that that was the right thing to do. There's a difference between having characters do bad things and the show endorsing those characters doing bad things. Like Hannah leaving the tapes behind is not seen as a good thing for anyone. You know, it's not a healing process for people. It's not like helpful. It leads to like 3 individual kids almost committing suicide themselves. Like it's not shown to be a good thing or a moral thing to do, but it happened and here's what occurred, you know? And that's how it kind of is with like the other stuff. Archive 81, oh, I didn't give a rating for 13 Reasons Why. I hate to do it, but 13 Reasons Why, thumbs up. I hate to. It's embarrassing, but it's good. On literally a technical level, it is good. It is more than good. It is incredible. And it doesn't deserve that, but it has it. And I can't do anything about it. Then there's Archive 81. Archive 81, thumbs up overall. I would give it side, but I'm not doing that. It's good. I feel like the concepts are really, really solid, though some of them are kind of rip-offy of other things. Like, it felt very Hereditary to me in a lot of instances, but I feel like overall it was compelling. I watched the whole thing like a day. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I was very glued to it. I feel like honestly the first 2 episodes are the worst in the series, and then it gets like pretty good, but the first 2 episodes are like not, especially the first episode is not good, which kind of sucks because most people are going to click off at that point. But it's interesting. I don't want to give anything away, but I recommend watching it. It's very like Hereditary meets Blair Witch Project meets like The Conjuring or something. But yeah, I recommend watching it. Then there's The Stranger. Thumbs down. It's not good. I was entertained by it. I enjoyed watching it, but it's not good. It's about this woman who, the stranger, and there's just this whole weaving of like blackmailing all these people and using information, but then like people go missing and there's like murder possibly and stuff. And I don't want to spoil anything because I feel like it is an entertaining thing to watch if you want to, but it's not really a good show. But it was fun, and it was crazy, and it was convoluted as hell, but if you're into stuff like that, I recommend watching it. I feel like it's something that you could probably watch like with your parents, truthfully, if you guys like watching shows together. Then Stranger Things, I rewatched season 1 and I just started season 2 today, so it doesn't count for February. I'll do that for March. But Stranger Things season 1 is a lot better than I remember it being. It's pretty slow at the beginning, but then it picks up. I really liked it when it came out, but then I didn't like season 2 at all, and I didn't really like season 3 all that much. And so I think it had me doubting whether season 1 was that great to begin with. But there are just some concepts that are like incredible in season 1. Like, I don't really think, I know the imagery has become really iconic with like Joyce and the Christmas lights with the letters, but I don't really think we give credit to the fact that like that is a brilliant concept. Like, that is really good. Like, I really like that whole section, and I like the tone of it. I like us getting introduced to the characters. I like Steve's arc in the season. I just feel like overall it just had so much more heart than the other 2 seasons, and I feel like they've kind of lost track of what made us like season 1 in the first place, and that's really sad. But I'm excited for season 4. I'm keeping my hopes low so I can be pleasantly surprised. Because I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to find it good. And so, you know, I hope that they scale back things. I hope it becomes smaller. And I'm interested to see, you know, where things go. I don't want to give spoilers for season 3 or anything. But I'm excited for season 4. And season 1 was a lot better than I actually thought it would be. So, thumbs up for that. And that's it. See you guys next month.